Hey folks, welcome back to another review with yours truly, Sam Healey. Today we're taking a look at Run, Fight, or Die Reloaded. This is a game that is basically a second edition of a game that is designed by Richard Launius. This is put out by Gray Fox Games, and it is basically a dice chucking zombie killing game where you're going to have people following you around, making noise, causing you problems. Some of them are helping you out. But you're basically just trying to survive, make it out to the town line, and live to tell about it. Let's get down to the table. I'll show you how it works, and we'll come back with some final thoughts in just a few moments after that. Okay, so each game phase is going to take place where each player is going to resolve these different phases. So the first phase is the action phase, where you're going to be rolling the dice, and you have 2 re-rolls, kind of Yahtzee style in that effect. And then you're also going to go into a mutant phase, where if the zombie mutant is awake, then he's going to be doing some problems, flipping over these mutant cards. And then finally, you advance your zombies 1 zone each. And if zombies ever advance onto your player board, then you're going to take a hit point of damage for each zombie that does so. So, of course, you don't want that to happen. If you ever lose your life, then that will be the end of the game. If one character dies, that will be the end of the game. They are out of the game, and then everybody else tallies their points to see who is the winner. The other 2 ways that the game can end is if one player finds the town line location card that is in this deck. It is shuffled into the bottom 6 cards of the deck, so you do have to do some work there. The other way it can end is if you ever have to add zombie tokens to the zombie mutant, and there are no more tokens left in the supply, then the game will automatically end. You tally points to see who is the winner. So in the action phase, you're going to take the dice and you're going to roll them, and any time that you have a zombie face show up, which looks like that, then that will lock the die. Otherwise, you can continue choosing which dice you're going to re-roll up to 3 times. So you get 3 rolls maximum, but you don't ever have to take all 3. So for example here, let's say I've got 2 bats here and an explorer, and then I have 3 searches. Well, if you look at 3 searches, that allows me to draw 2 followers and keep 1 of them. Followers are going to be doing a number of different things. Some of them have negative effects. Other ones have positive effects on the game, and they also are worth a number of points. If they are still alive at the end of the game, they're going to award the person they're following with that many points. So getting followers is not a bad thing. These explorer icons, one is I get to choose this location card, flip it over, and do the bad effect on it. So basically, let's just show one that at random here. All of these have a bad effect and a positive effect. So if you roll only 1 Explorer, then you get to do just the bad effect, which of course you probably wouldn't want to do. But if you roll 2 of these, you can do both the bad and the good. And then if you roll 3 of these Explorer icons, then you can do just the good thing that's at the bottom there. So that may be something you want to go for. Bats are going to kill 2 zombies in your zone 1. So rolling 2 bats isn't necessarily something that you want to go for unless one of your special abilities here calls for 2 and you want to try to fire that special ability off. As it stands right now, I'm probably going to go ahead and leave these 3 guys here because that's going to allow me to draw 2 followers and keep 1. Hopefully I'll get a positive effect. I'm going to keep 1 bat so I can make sure that these 2 guys are going to be taken care of, and then I'm going to re-roll these. So I go ahead and re-roll these, and I have another bat. Wow, I rolled the exact same thing. Last roll here, and okay, well, that bat doesn't do me any good, but this icon here is a shoot, which is going to allow me to kill 1 zombie in any one of my zones. Another effect that I didn't go over is the run, and what each run allows you to do is push 1 zombie 1 row back. So if you wanted to, you could choose to push one of these zombies off your board, and there are 2 different things that you could do. If you're playing the the nice version of the game, you simply put it back into the supply. But if you're playing the more competitive version of the game, when you push a zombie off of your zone 3, it actually goes to the person to your right. And it gets placed into their zone 3. So that's one way that you can use these run icons like that. But as it stands, this one is going to allow me to kill both of these guys here and get them out of the way. And then I'm going to use my gun here to kill one of these zombies here. And then I'm going to use my 3 search to draw 2 followers and keep one of them. Okay, so this mysterious cultist here is worth 3 points at the end of the game, and its effect is, it doesn't have any in-game effect, but when he dies, I can draw another follower. This one here is the cool guy. He's worth only 1 point, and he has a positive effect that says once per turn, I can kill a zombie in zone 2. The more positive the effect, the lower number of victory points it's going to be worth at the end of the game. He is a little fragile though, only having 1 health, but I think we're going to go ahead and keep the cool guy and have him be part of my team. Now, once we finish the action phase, then we're going to move on to the mutant phase. And the mutant phase is where we check to see if the mutant zombie has awoken. There's 2 ways that you can awake the zombie, and that is this. The first one is if a player has rolled no less than 5, let me go ahead and do this, 5 zombie dice. If that has happened, the zombie will awaken, and the person who did that draws a leadership token. If, for example, if you've ever rolled 6, your turn immediately ends, you'll draw 2 leadership tokens, and then you pass your dice on to the next player. You skip your mutant phase and your advanced zombies phase. But if you roll 5, then you're going to continue into your mutant phase, where you're going to first of all draw 1 leadership token, which is worth points at the end of the game. And then you're also going to awaken the zombie. Now, the zombie awakens by simply taking the number of players plus 1 and adding that many tokens to his disc here. Let's say we're simulating a 4-player game, so that's going to add 5 tokens to his disc, which makes up how many hit points he has. If the zombie is awake, he is going to basically flip 1 card over, and you're going to have to carry out that effect. Now, some of them affect all players, like this one right here says all players add 1 zombie to their zone 3. So everybody would have to take a zombie and add it to their zone 3 here. Other effects could be something to the effect of, this one says all players advance 2 zombies in zone 1. 1 zone on their board, and it may advance the same one twice. So if this one came up, everybody would have to advance 2 zombies, 1 zone. So it could be something like this, or it could be something like 1, 2, like that, although that might not be a very good idea. You might just want to do something like this. But as you can see, these are nasty cards. You don't want them to stick around very long, so allowing this guy to stick around is not a good idea. So how do you get rid of them? Well, these different gun faces of the dice, it allows you to kill 1 zombie in one of your zones, or you can use it to target the zombie mutant, in which case you would take 1 of the tokens off of here, and that's worth points at the end of the game for you. So then going back to the turn that we were simulating, the mutant has not awoken yet, so we're actually going to skip that phase because we didn't roll 5 zombie dice, and we're going to move on to the advanced zombies phase. Now that is where we simply take our zombies and we advance them 1 zone, like so, and then once that is done, we're going to add a number of zombies here that is equal to 3 plus the number of zombie face dice that we rolled. So in this case, we didn't roll any zombie face dice, so we're not going to add any more. But let's say that we had 1 and 2. Let's say that we had that. Well, then we're going to simply add 2 more plus the 3 originally. So as you can see, rolling these special abilities here and going for them, while they do have powerful effects, it's also going to add more zombies to your zone 3 during your advanced zombies phase. So you need to make sure you're using those at the right time to get the best effect, because it does have a little bit of a negative effect on you. There are also these loot cards that you have during the course of your turn, and you can use them whenever you wish or whenever it says that you can use them. For example, here it says medical supplies. It says discard to heal up to 2 wounds from your character and or followers, but it cannot be used to prevent a wound. So if you're about to take a wound that's going to kill you, you can't say, aha, medical supplies. No, you can't do that. You have to use it before that. Other kinds of effects, you have chainsaws where it says discard to kill 3 zombies in zone 1. You have shotguns which says discard to kill 3 zombies in any one zone. So you could use that to kill these 3 guys back here. You have other things like a lucky charm which says that you can discard to reroll any number of dice including zombie dice. You have a town map which says discard to move up to 4 zombies from zone 1 to zone 3. So there's a number of different kinds of loot cards that you're going to be able to use for a number of different things. There's a lot of duplicates in here too, but they are useful, and it's pretty self-explanatory. But generally speaking, after my turn is over, my dice pass on to the next player in player order. They're going to go through these same 3 phases, and that continues until one of those 2 in-game conditions are met. In that case, the surviving heroes are going to tally their points to see who the winner is, and that's generally how you play Run, Fight, or Die Reloaded. So that's about that for Run, Fight, or Die Reloaded. I have to say that I've always been an admirer of this game. I've always had a great time with it. My first introduction to it was Richard Launius taught my son Michael and I how to play this at Dice Tower Con one year, and we had a blast playing it. And that probably gave me a little bit of a bias because Richard is a great person to play games with. He's very fun, but after that, it has had staying power. We've played it with my family a lot, and of course, I've played this at other places as well. We really enjoy this game, but let's get to my pros and cons. So my first pro of the game is quite simply, the artwork is great. And the reason I like the artwork is that it's not over the top and ultra realistic like a lot of the games in our hobby have become here in recent days. It's still a zombie game, and it still has that level of disgustingness to it, but it's not over the top. It's more cartoony than some of those other games are. And I like that about this. It keeps the theme that is, it's a pretty dark, disgusting thing, but it keeps it light. And that's what I like about it, is because it's just more palatable than some of those other games that are out there. There's nothing wrong necessarily with those other games and using super realistic artwork, because it's great artwork, don't get me wrong, but I like that this one keeps it light. And so that's what I like about the artwork for this one. The second pro is that the component quality is super. I like the miniatures on this one. There are basically 2 different sculpts. There's a male sculpt and a female sculpt. They're all the same, but they're also in 2 different colors, so that allows it to pop a little bit more on the table. The dice are a little bit more angular than I would like them, but they're very chunky. They're very nice. They're carved in. The faces are carved in, so they're not going to wear off or anything like that. All of the cards are decent. You're not going to be handling the cards a whole lot anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Usually you just put your loot cards down on the table and then you use them when you have to. It's not like you're going to keep them in your hand and get all that oil all over them all the time. So the component quality is great, and I think it's going to stand the test of time. All of the cardboard tokens for the leadership tokens and the zombie tokens, those are all decently proportioned as far as being able to stand up and that type of thing. They're not flimsy or anything like that. So across the board, the component the component quality is very good, and I think it's worth the money you're going to pay. Another pro for this second edition is something that I like to mention, because sometimes with second editions you have a team that wants to change how the game plays, and they didn't do that. They largely left gameplay alone, at least from what I can remember. There might be some minute changes here and there. They did add a solo version that I'm not sure was in the original or not. It may have been. I've just never played it. I did play this one, and it's pretty fun. Now, it can give that feel where your dice rolls are bad and you just get your butt kicked, or your dice rolls are really good and you feel like you're cheating because it's just the way it goes. It's either one way or the other. It seems like there's very little in between there. At least it seems that way. But I did play the solo version, not all the way through to its conclusion, but I did play about 2/3 of the way. It's scenario based, and it's a campaign, so I did enjoy it. I like the way they have it laid out, and that's pretty good praise for me, because I usually don't enjoy playing games solo. If I'm going to play a board game, I want to play it with other people, and that's really the case here. I do prefer it that way, but the solo mode is good. And finally, my last pro of the game is that the gameplay is very lighthearted and fun, and it's simple to teach, it's simple to play, it's very straightforward. 3 phases, go through those 3 phases of the next person's turn, and you keep doing that until the game ends. I like it when it's that way, because you know what you're doing, and there's not a lot of downtime because you want to pay attention to what everybody's doing. It's not cooperative at all, although it kind of gives the feeling that it might be, but it's really not, because you're all survivors and you want everybody to survive, please. But no, at the end of the day, no, if I'm going to be able to get out and you're going to, kind of not make it, well, I'm sorry, but not sorry. And that's kind of the feeling that it has. It could be a really mean game, and there is that variation that I mentioned where if you push somebody off your zone 3, you can either put it back in the supply if you're playing the friendly mode of the game, or if you're playing the more competitive mode, you put that into the next person's zone 3, and now they have to deal with that person while you don't. So there's that, but it's a very lighthearted game. It's fast and it's fun, and I like that. It's definite pro. And really, my only con here is really wrapped up in the dice, because the dice can be either really nice to you, or they can really hurt you and not be nice to you at all. And sometimes it feels like it's either really helps you or it really hurts you. And there's very few times that it feels like the dice could have been a little bit better, or they could have been a little bit worse. So that chaotic, random nature of dice rolling, if you don't like that, you're not going to like this, because it very much has that King of Tokyo Yahtzee feel to it, where either the dice really do help you or they don't help you. And so that has to be mentioned as a con, because I think in our hobby at large, that's either a hit or miss for a lot of people. A lot of people don't like the randomness. A lot of people love it, and that's what makes it exciting. So there is the con, but that's the only one that's there. So all in all, I think I'm going to give Run Fight or Die Reloaded a healthy 9 out of 10, because I think they really did a great job here of remaking a game that I already enjoyed, and they made it just slightly better because of that graphic design, because of that keeping things the way they were, but kind of sprucing it up a little bit with the design and the artwork and that type of thing. So I already enjoyed it. You guys knew that, but this really kind of kicked it up a notch for me. I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10 because I really did enjoy it. I think the solo mode is awesome, and I think it's ripe for expansion at this point, which they're probably going to do it. I don't know, maybe not, but I hope they do. So that's it for me, a 9 out of 10 for Run Fight or Die Reloaded. Thanks for joining me. We'll see you guys and gals on the flip side. Take care.
Thanks so much for watching another Dice Tower video. If you enjoy our videos, subscribe to the channel for more fun, comprehensive board game coverage. Also, consider joining us at one of our events. Come to Dice Tower Retreat, a small, intimate gathering where gaming is king. Join us for Dice Tower Cruise, the largest board game cruise. Attend Dice Tower West in Las Vegas for gaming fun on the West Coast, or Dice Tower East in Orlando in sunny Florida. Dice Tower Conventions, the friendliest gaming conventions on Earth. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower.